Today we will be examining creating menus in NetBeans IDE 29 with AWT and Swing. For this, we will be using JavaFX 26 and Open JDK 26. We have our template created. Let's go through it. Since we will be using Swing to create our menus, we will need to use swingutilities.invoke_later. This will allow us to safely call methods in Swing. This class call should be used when an app thread needs to update the GUI. We have our call to the class that will create the frame. If we look at the class, it is empty. We will add the commands shortly. We have specified that the class extends JFrame. We have also created a blank constructor. Now if we go into the properties, under our sources, we're using JDK 26. Under the build and compiling, we've removed the compile on save. We're now going to configure the JFrame. We're going to go into our constructor for the menu demo Swing. And first, we're going to put a name in the title bar of our JFrame. To do this, we just use the command super. We will use JAVX Swing menu demo for our title bar. Next, we need to set a close operation for the app. If you don't put this command in and you close it, the application will still run. The window will just be hidden in the background by default. To set our close operation, it's just a simple command of set default close operation, and we'll use the constant exit on close. Now we will set up a size for our application. We will be using a screen of 600 by 600. First, we will set up the constants for the width and height. We want to place the constants below the class name. The constants will be private static final int default width with a value of 600 and private static final int default height with a value of 600. Now we can set our preferred size. Set preferred size, new, dimension, and we will add our constants, default width, and default height. Then we'll add our import. We want to use the Java AWT import for dimension. To apply the preferred size to the frame, use the command pack. And for this particular application, we don't want the user to be able to resize it. To prevent resizing, use the command set resizable false. We are going to center the application on the main screen. To do this, we use the command
set location relative to null. Next, we want to add an icon to our frame. Our icon will be 60 pixels by 60 pixels.
Now to do this, first we're going to add a package to our program. We're going to call it resources. So you should have an empty package down here. Wherever you saved your icon, you can just drag it over, copy it into your resources. You should see it in your package. To add the icon to the frame, we need to use the following code.
Image main icon image equals new image icon open bracket dot get class dot get resource open bracket. Now we want to put the path where the icon is stored. We stored our icon in the resources package, so our path will be quotes resources / main icon dot png close quotes close bracket. To retrieve the image from the file, we add .getImage.
Don't forget to add your imports. Make sure when you're adding your imports.
When you add your imports, make sure you use the JAVX Swing import for the image icon, and for the image, you want to choose the java.awt.image import. Finally, to add the icon to the frame, use the command set icon image and use the variable main icon image. Now that the frame is set up, we want to add components to the frame. We will have the components in a separate method, and we'll call this method with the call add components. We will create the method for add components below this method and leave it blank for now.
So if we were to run this now, let's just compile it and run. We should see our menu icon, the name of our frame, and right now it's blank because we haven't added any components. Now that the frame is created, we want to create the actual menu. Now this is pretty straightforward. First thing first, we actually have to have a menu bar.
To create the menu bar, the code is var for variable, menu bar equals new J menu bar. Don't forget to add your imports. This is a JAVX Swing import.
Now, with all menus, probably the first menu you're always going to see is the file menu. So we're going to create file menu. We're going to use the command var file menu new menu, and we're going to call it file. To do your import as well, it's a JAVX Swing import. So under the File menu, one of the most basic options that you have is Exit. Now, when you click on Exit, it automatically exits the program, closes it down. So we're going to simulate that. That's done in a couple of parts. So first part, we're going to create the action that will actually shut down the program. Then we will create the actual menu for that action.
To create the action event, we are going to create a variable exit action. Var exit action equals new abstract action, and we will name it exit. Add the import javx.swing.abstractAction. We are overriding the default abstract action, so we will need to declare the override. At override, and then the action will be public void action performed, open bracket, action event, event, close bracket. Here is where you specify the action that will be performed when you select the exit menu. The command to exit is system.exit with 0 in the brackets. The 0 means the app closed with no errors. Don't forget to add the import. We will now create the exit menu item. JMenu item exit item equals file menu.add exit action. File menu.add exit action adds the action performed that we created earlier to the menu item. Don't forget to add the import for the menu item.
So we have our menu item. Now we want to add that to our file menu. Now, usually it's the last item in your file menu, and people like to group things together. So we're going to, like, in case we want to add things above it, there's always other things like new, save, open, load, all kinds of different options. So we want this separated from those options because it's in its own category. It's going to close the program. It's not related to anything else. So in order to do that, we're going to add a separator. So to do this, we enter the command file menu add separator. And then we're going to add below the separator, we're going to add file menu add exit item. So when you're building your file menu, the order in which you have these added is the order that they'll appear. So if we went to run this, we would see their separator and then our item. So we're going to add an options menu. Just going to add a few different menu items here just to demonstrate how these work. As we did with the file menu, we're going to create an options menu. And it's a J menu option. So under the options menu, we're going to add different options that the user can choose from. We're going to have them choose what type of dice that they want to use. This is going to be a radio button choice where they can choose which one that they want out of the list. So we're going to group the list together so that if they choose one, all of the others can't be chosen. So to do this, we're going to create a die group. And this is a button group because, like I said, it's going to be radio buttons. Okay. Now we'll have to add our import. It is the swing option. Now we're going to create our different options, and then we're going to add them to the die group, and then we're going to add them to our options menu. So first, we're going to give them a choice of die called die type 1. And it is a radio button menu item. And we're going to call this one clock ticker dice. And we want this one to be selected right from the start. So we're going to true. Capitalized. And we want to import. It is a Java point. Our second option is going to be new, a radio. And we're going to call this one standard dice. And our third option and final option new item, and this one is going to be a D20. Okay. So now we're going to add these to our die group. One. Add 2. And finally, die group. Okay. Now we're going to add them to our options menu. One. And we can just copy and paste this in, changing the end here to 2 and 3, just to speed things up. Now we want to add another type of option for the user to choose from. And we want to also use it as a radio button to show that they can choose these group an item from this group as well. So we're going to create a separator first to separate group 1 from group 2. So to do that, options menu, add separator. Okay. And let's just say that we want to be able to change the colors. We're going to call it colors. Now for this, we're going to create a new group, and we're going to call it color group. New group. Okay. And then we're going to have 3 different colors. Our first color is going to be color red. New radio button menu item. Our option is going to be red. Now, like we did earlier, copy and paste. Our next color is going to be green. And we want the menu option to be green. And then finally, we're going to use the okay. Now, for this one here, let's do something different and have a green option be our default. Now we want to add these to our color group. We'll use color group, add, and red. And I'll just copy and paste this down, changing this to green and blue. And then we want to add them to our options menu. Add. Red. Now for adding to our groups and adding to our menus, the order is important. If you put them in the wrong order, it will not show up correctly, and you may have issues with any actions that you want to have happen. So let's add a third menu. We're going to create a help menu. We create that the same way as we did the other menus. We're going to call it help menu equals new a menu, and we're going to call it help. We're going to create an about option under the help menu. To do this, we just go R, and we're going to call it about item equals new a menu item, and we're going to call it about. Now, sometimes you see in menus, there's quick keys that can be used. In this case here, we want to add a quick key to bring up our about menu, and we want it to be A. So we add an A. Put a space in there so we get rid of that error. And finally, we want to add our about menu option to our help menu. So it's just help menu dot add about So now we have all of our menus created the way that we want. We want to add our menus to our menu bar. Now we have to do this in order because we don't want the help menu to show up first. We want the file menu to show up first. Then we want our options menu, and then we want our help menu. So in our menu bar, we want to add them in the proper order. Our first one is our file menu, followed by add, and we want menu, and last we want to add our help menu. Now everything has been added to our menu bar, but our menu bar has not been added to the frame yet. So let's add our menu bar to our JFrame. To do this, we just use the command this.set JMenuBar, and we're going to, because ours is named menu bar, we just add menu bar. File this, run program. Let's go over our pieces here. We've got our file menu with our exit option, our separator bar above it. Now, if I was to click on this now, it would close the program. So let's run it again. Under our options menu, we have, as expected, our stock ticker dice as our default. We also have the options of standard dice and a D20 die. So if we click on one, it automatically changes our selection. Change it to our D20 die. And then we have the options of red, green, and blue. So if I was to choose red here, it has no effect on the upper group. It only affects the bottom group. We have the separator bar in between to show you separate groups. And because we added these in the options of red, green, and blue, they show up as red, blue. And finally, we have our help menu with the option about, and you can see the underline of A. So that's menu building using Java, AWT, and Swing. Thank you for watching today's episode, and we hope to see you in future episodes.